So we're getting into the final sort of cosmetic stuff. So usually these brass knobs are lacquered, but the corrosion and whatever is underneath, so you have to remove the lacquer. So my technique is just a little bit of acetone, remove the lacquer, and then various grades of finishing paper once you fairly rough grade to get rid of all the damage, and then polish it up. And my little technique for preserving the radial direction of the if you like of the scratches or marks is to basically take get a drill bit that's the same size as the shaft here, stick it in the old portable drill, spin it nice and slowly while you hold the abrasive paper up to the edge, and that will normally keep the same radial nature as you have in the original one. I guess if I had a mini lathe or a miniature lathe, it would be easier, but I don't. And if you put it in the upright drill, the drill press, then this is facing down, so you can't really see it, and it's just a bother. So sticking it in the old portable seems to be the best way to go. Obviously, shoot a coat of clear on it, and then finished product. Some more cosmetic stuff. So this is the little logo that sits in the center of the dial underneath. It's got quite discolored down this side, and there's green corrosion marks on this side, and it generally looks rather grubby. However, I was hoping this might be embossed, but it looks like it's not. It looks like it's just a flat brass plate, and the name is silk screened onto it and then clear coated. So any attempt to clean that up is highly likely to remove the paint as well. I don't know, I think I might have managed to get at least some of the dirt off. It's not perfect, but I think it's going to be okay compared to all the work it would take to blank it out and try and get a decal on there. I'll still work on getting the logo though. Well, I think we'll be into some experimenting here with the end panels. I put about 5 coats of just regular blonde shellac on here, flattened it off and given it a quick polish. And it does look lovely, I do like it. However, it occurred to me, even though the color scheme is nice, it does look a little bit more like an early 60s set now than an early 40s set. So I'm going to start on the other side, which has also got about 4 or 5 coats of just shellac on it, and I'm going to start tinting it brown color and see if I can take it down to something that will make it still show up the grain, but be a little bit more like a 40s type color scheme than this. It's a bit of a shame really, because I do like this, but it would niggle me that it wasn't quite period appropriate. Well guys, it's been a while, but I have been busy playing Sorcerer's Apprentice, really, with all this messing with dyes and coloring powders and different types of shellac, different color fillers, all sorts of stuff. Generally messing around, not actually directly for the radio project, but for another one of these. Another chair. I didn't video it because, well, I've done a few of them, so although this one was good fun because This is basically the last of the spare parts I had in my antique chair collection, and the lady asked for another chair if I could. So I said I'd give it a go. So it took a fair amount of work, as none of these separate pieces were ever part of the same chair before, so it took a lot of fitting. For instance, the back frame was off a chair that was about 2 centimeters shorter than the rest of the chair, so the back legs have been extended by about 2 centimeters, or maybe a bit less. So I've told the dear lady to come and have a look at it, and if she thinks it's okay, I'll finish off the varnish work on it and so on. So I was using this to experiment to see what my strategy would be for the Mediator cabinet. So here's what it looks like after about 3 or 4 coats of that tinted shellac. It may look a little bit red in the video, but it's not in real life. However, the tone is also dependent on the angle you view it at. And as you can see, when you view it at a low angle, the center section here is much lighter than the 2 outer sections. But hey, we'll live with that. So I'm going to do maybe 3 or 4 more coats, and then we'll see where we are. I'm using shellac, which is very darkly colored, but because the viscosity is so low, it tends not to transfer like sort of regular paint would. And I'm using some red mahogany and some vintage amber stain. I did also try adding the furniture powder, which I read somewhere you could mix with shellac, but didn't seem to want to work for me. It added a slight brown tint to the shellac, but the little tiny particles all just settled on the bottom. So we stay with the liquid stain. So 24 hours later, and I do like this color. I do like this. I don't know if it comes across in the video, but the vertical striations on the grain are still visible. And I just hope I can keep most of this when I rub it out. So let's see if I can get the other side to look something similar. This, by the way, is about, I think, something like 6 coats of shellac at this point. So it's going to take a while to get this finished, because I didn't want to rub it out directly down onto the shellac. So I've put a couple of brush coats of clear water-based lacquer on here. And so it's got about 3 coats on, and I'll let it dry overnight and then rub that down. However, this type of lacquer, you need to then leave it at least 10 days before you go to polish. So since it's dragging on a bit, I mean, I'm very pleased with it, but I thought it's been a while since I put up an update, so I think I'll put it up like this, and then I'll have one last clip when the cab is all done, and we put the chassis back in and give it a run. So more to come, but it might be another couple of weeks.